Today we are going to talk about the story of Baucis and Philemon. But first we have to know the characters of the story. First are Baucis and Philemon. They are a poor yet happy couple who were extremely kind. They loved each other so much that nothing else was more important. Jupiter, Zeus in Greek mythology. He is the god of sky and thunder, and king of the gods in ancient Roman religion and mythology. Mercury, Hermes in Greek mythology. He is the patron god of financial gain, commerce, eloquence, and thus poetry, messages or communication including divination, travelers, boundaries, luck, trickery, and thieves. He is also the guide of souls to the underworld. And the story goes like this. In the Phrygian hill country, there were once two trees which all the peasants, near and far, pointed out as a great marvel, and no wonder, for one was an oak and the other a linden, yet they grew from a single trunk. The story of how this came about is a proof of the immeasurable power of the gods, and also of the way they reward the humble and the pious. Sometimes, when Jupiter was tired of eating ambrosia and drinking nectar up in Olympus, and even a little weary of listening to Apollo's lyre and watching the Graces dance, he would come down to the earth, disguise himself as a mortal, and go looking for adventures. His favorite companion on these tours was Mercury, the most entertaining of all the gods. The two gods disguised themselves as poor wayfarers, and wandered through the land, knocking at every house they came to, asking for food and place to rest in. But none admitted them. At last they came upon a little hut, poorer than any they had yet found. But here, when they knocked, the door opened wide, and cheerful voice bade them enter. They had to stoop to pass through the low entrance, but once inside, they found themselves in a snug and very clean room. They were warmly welcomed by an old couple. The old couple was Philemon and Baucis. They were pleased to have visitors, and insisted that their guests rest before their little hearth fire. They even logged in more of their precious firewood to make a greater blaze, and asked. Philemon and Baucis then served their presumably starving guests fresh fruits, olives, eggs, and wine. Soon the old couple noticed that no matter how often they poured from it, the wine pitcher was never empty. They began to suspect that their guests might be more than mere mortals. Just in case, Philemon and Baucis decided to provide the closest they could come to a meal that was fit for a god. They would slaughter their only goose in their guests' honor. Unfortunately, the legs of the goose were faster than those of Philemon or Baucis. When both had to give up the chase panting and exhausted, the gods felt that the time had come for them to take the action. They were really very kind. The gods bestowed upon them the reward for their hospitality. They then escorted the two out of the hut and told them to look around them. To their amazement, all they saw was water. The whole countryside had disappeared. A great lake surrounded them. At the middle of the lake was a pillared temple of whitest marble with a golden roof. The gods spared the couple from the destruction of the country. Then, as a reward for their hospitality, they allowed the old couple to make one wish. The couple volunteered to be the guards of the temple and wished that neither would ever have to leave alone. Baucis and Philemon gratefully guarded the temple for the rest of their lives. One day, they stood outside the temple and talked about their past life. As they exchanged memories, the bark grew around them. They had time only to cry, "Farewell, dear companion." As the words passed their lips, they became trees, but still they were together. The linden and the oak grew from one trunk. From far and wide people came to admire the wonder, and always wreaths of flowers hung on the branches, in honor of pious and faithful fair. The moral lesson of the story are the following. We should be kind and hospitable to everyone. Treat everyone well, because you never know when you will find yourself in the presence of a God. Thank you.